I want to talk about mornings, not the kind that starts with intention and gratitude and a perfectly brewed cup of coffee. The other kind, the kind where you open your eyes and before your feet hit the floor, your mind is already running. You're thinking about bills and you're thinking about applications and what the job search is going to look like today. You're thinking about trying to find balance and silence. The mental math of surviving another day starts before the day has even had a chance to begin. There is a kind of tired that sleep does not fix because the weight is still there when you wake up. It never really left, it just waited for you. I know that tired. And if you're listening to this, I think you might know it too. They say you cannot pour from an empty cup, and they're right. But I have found a way to pull a little water from the air to fill my cup just enough to pour a little for me for that day. And that's what this episode is about. Before I talk about the empty cup, I need to talk about how it got empty. See, I've always been the strong one, the one who shows up, the one who figures it out, the one people call when something is broken because they know I'll fix it, that I'll find a way through. And I'm pouring from my cup. I'm pouring from my cup. And I'm pouring from my cup, pouring into others. And as my cup became barren, somewhere along the way, people stopped checking on me. Not because they don't care, but because they made a quiet assumption that I'm fine. Oh, she's always fine. She's always going to find a way. And they believe that because I have always been fine. And so when I was not fine, nobody noticed because the strong one does not drown, according to them, except that she does. It's exhausting to be the glue for everyone else when the binding of your own glue is wearing off. To hold everything together for other people when you're the one who was quietly falling apart. To keep showing up for a world that has decided your strength is infinite. It is not infinite. No one's is. And it's time that we stop pretending otherwise. Even strong people struggle. Even strong people break. And it's not fair, it's not kind, and it's not accurate to assume that the person who has always been okay will always be okay. Sometimes the strongest person in the room is the one who needs the most help and is the least likely to ask for it. And it takes a lot of strength to ask for help. And when you're already mentally exhausted from the realities of your life, being unemployed, all the bills and everything that you have to deal with every day, pulling the mental strength together to ask for help takes sometimes Herculean strength. And to prepare yourself mentally for the rejection, for the no, takes even greater strength. So here is what it actually looks like on the inside. On the hardest mornings, there's a war happening before I even get out of bed. There are two sides. On one side, my strengths, the achiever, the builder, the believer, the part of me that has always found a way and fully believes she will find one again. The other side, reality, the account balances, the unanswered applications, the silence from people who said they would come through but don't, the not knowing when or if the breakthrough is coming. Is unemployment permanent for you? When is your home going to foreclosure? What does your credit score look like now? Both voices, both sides feel true. And choosing which one to listen to takes more energy than most people realize. Just to open your email takes energy. There's a specific kind of quiet devastation in opening your inbox with just a little bit of hope and finding either a rejection or nothing at all, just silence. One disappointment after the next. So consistently that hope itself starts to feel like an act in futility or a dangerous pursuit. Like something you can't afford to spend too much of because you don't know how much of it you have left. And I live alone, which means there are days I do not speak a single word out loud from the time I wake up to the time I go to sleep. The world around me is quiet, but the noise inside of my head is loud, very loud, like recess playground loud. The bills are calculating themselves in the background of everything I do. The questions I cannot answer, circling back around over and over again. The weight of all of it sitting on top of whatever I'm trying to build that day. That is survival mode from the inside. It's not dramatic, not visible. It's exhausting and relentless. I still love the type of work I do, the strategy, the problem solving, walking into something broken and finding the path through it. That's not left me. That is still there. But there is a difference between doing what you love from a place of stability and doing it while your basic needs are unmet. Maslow understood this. His hierarchy of needs is not just a framework you study in school, it's real. You cannot fully access your gifts, your creativity, your drive, any of that when you're still fighting for safety and security. The psychological weight of financial insecurity does not just sit back beside your work, it sits on top of it. And I want to be transparent about something else. While all of this was happening, all my financial instability, all the noise in the background, the worry, the not knowing, I was still building. Not because I stumbled onto something new, but because that's what I do. When the path forward is not obvious, I pave one. I had been teaching myself AI tools, and so I began to teach myself more. I designed systems from scratch. I developed, tested, and iterated using every skill I have accumulated over the past 20 years, from business strategy to design thinking to development, hands on keys, creating something out of nothing. That's the part that lit me up, that got me excited about each day. That's the part that I loved about my work, the creating, the creative. It still does light me up. Even that cannot be fully realized because financial insecurity has a way of interrupting joy. You build something you believe in, and then you remember you don't even have the money to run meta ads to let the world know that, hey, this really cool thing that I do exists. $50 could run ads for a couple days. You don't even have that. And it's not just the ads you can't afford. I am building with AI tools every day. Claude, ChatGPT, Lovable, using free versions because I cannot afford the $20, $25 a month for a subscription. So I'm running on the free versions and I keep running out of tokens multiple times a day. Mid thought, mid build, and then I wait hours before I can prompt again and pick up where I left off. And by that time, my mind has shifted onto something else, and I have to reacclimate myself to where I was. There's nothing worse than being in a groove of building, hands on keys, writing code, and then getting interrupted and then trying to put yourself back in that space mentally. We call that context switching. And context switching is something we like to minimize because we know that it impacts productivity. So my life is full of a lot of context switching because of the financial instability that I'm existing. I have managed budgets in the millions, and I cannot afford $20 a month for the tools I need to build my way out of this. That is what financial insecurity actually looks like up close. The specific frustration, knowing exactly what you need to do and not being able to do it because the resources are not there, is one of the quietest and most demoralizing parts of building from an empty cup. So, what do? On most days, I close my eyes and pray. Not even for a breakthrough, not for all bills to be paid, just for enough mental strength to focus on today, just today. And most days, I press through. I create something, a framework, a system, a post, start working on my book. I'm writing a children's book, which I have 29 chapters written so far. I'm proud of myself about that. I want to share that with you. A piece of the vision that I have for Stratus Bridge. Something that reminds me I'm still moving even when it doesn't feel like it. And some days I stay in bed. I pull up an old TV series and I let the hours pass. And I've had to make peace. with the fact that that is not failure. That's a different kind of survival. The body and the mind asking for the one thing they need the most: rest, permission, one day of not being strong. Both the days of staying in bed and reflecting on what's going on and just giving your place and your mind a space to just be, and the other side, the other voice of just going in there and knocking stuff out. You're building command centers and you're building websites that integrate with Go High Level and Power Automate and integrate with SharePoint and PowerPoint. Those two versions are okay. One is not better than the other when you're in survival mode. Both of those are real. And even when you are laying in bed, binge watching an old TV series, you're pulling water from air to pour yourself what you need for that day. I don't have a tidy ending for this one. The cup is still emptier than I would like for it to be. The bills are still there. The silence is still loud. The breakthrough has not yet arrived. But I'm still here. I'm still building, still finding drops of water in the air on the days when there's nothing else to draw from. And if you're listening to this from your own empty cup, I want you to know something. Your strength is not infinite. You are allowed to say that out loud. The people who assume you will be fine do not get to define what fine looks like for you. And the days you stay in bed are not days you failed, they are days you survived. And surviving is not nothing. I do not know from where your water is coming from today, but if you found even a drop, that is enough. Pour it. See what it builds. I'm Stacy Burnside. This is Between Eggs and Gas. Good days, survival days, and everything in between. I'll see you next time.